The story begins in England at the end of the 18th century and revolves around a young woman named Jane Austen, played by Anne Hathaway, a woman in her 20s who lives with her modest family from Hampshire, in a small town in England. Jane has an independent spirit and a biting wit that often clashes with the expectations of her time. Unlike other young women in her environment, Jane does not seem interested in marrying simply for convenience. However, family pressure is high. Her parents are in financial difficulties and expect Jane to make a marriage that can bring benefits to the family. At first, we meet Jane as a free-spirited, independent-thinking woman, something rare in a society where women have few opportunities to choose their own destiny. Jane's close relationship with her family, especially her sister Cassandra, is important in her life, even though they don't always see eye to eye. Jane begins to receive attentions from several suitors, including young Mr. Weasley, a well-intentioned but uninteresting man for Jane. Weasley is the nephew of Lady Gresham, a wealthy and influential woman who hopes that Jane will agree to the marriage in order to ensure the stability of her family. Jane's life changes when she meets Thomas Lefroy, played by James McAvoy, an Irish lawyer who is temporarily staying with relatives. Lefroy is a man with a somewhat dubious reputation, known for his impetuous character and his fondness for London's nightlife. When Lefroy and Jane meet, they initially disparage each other. Lefroy believes Jane to be a naive provincial girl, while Jane considers him insolent and arrogant. Lefroy, who is financially dependent on his uncle, leads a complex life and is full of contradictions. He is cultured and sensitive, but also defiant and skeptical of life and society. However, as they get to know each other better, they both find themselves drawn to each other. At a family gathering, Jane reads aloud a text she has written, surprising Lefroy with her literary talent. This moment marks the first indication that Lefroy sees beyond her appearance and his initial prejudices, and begins to admire her for her intelligence and her way with words. Lefroy recognizes Jane's talent and wit, while Jane begins to see a deeper, more sincere side to him. Lefroy introduces Jane to works by authors such as Henry Fielding, who inspire her writing, and he gives Jane a copy of Tom Jones, a rather daring adventure romance novel for the time. In a memorable scene, Jane reads the book and laughs at the mischievous tone of Lefroy's gift. This book marks a point of union in their interests and allows them to get closer in a more intimate and personal way, and their relationship evolves until it becomes a passionate bond, in an era where romantic love was not always within reach of people of their social class. Jane and Lefroy take part in a cricket match with family and friends. They display a carefree and playful side to both characters. During the game, Jane and Lefroy openly display their attraction through gestures and glances, beginning a connection that goes beyond the verbal. Jane and Lefroy long to be together, but they face a fundamental problem. Lefroy is also under family pressure and financially dependent on his rich uncle, who disapproves of his relationship with Jane. If Lefroy marries Jane, he risks losing his inheritance and his career. Despite this, Lefroy proposes to Jane that they run away together, and for a moment it seems that Jane is going to abandon her secure life to follow her love. However, when Jane realizes the hardships and life of poverty they could face, especially considering the consequences for her own family, she makes a heartbreaking decision. She rejects Lefroy so as not to ruin the well-being of both of them. The film ends with a time jump to an adult, unmarried Jane Austen, fully devoted to her writing. The final scene shows a chance meeting between Jane and an older Lefroy. Years after their separation, Jane and Lefroy meet in a reading room. Lefroy, now married with children, introduces her to his daughter, who curiously bears the name Jane. This final scene is bittersweet, reflecting both the lost love and the deep respect they have for each other, even though their lives have taken different paths. Becoming Jane thus explores the life and experiences that influenced Austen's style, such as the theme of frustrated love and the limitations imposed on women of her time. The story suggests that this relationship with Lefroy may have been a major inspiration for Austen's novels, especially for his most famous work, Pride and Prejudice, and it is a combination of a tribute to his life and a romantic and nostalgic look at what could have been. We hope you liked the summary of this spectacular film. Comment what you think, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next summary.